just feel like my son is in this certain area, and I'm so tired of waiting. What if it's the police station that is dealing with your son's investigation, and they're scared of liability, so they won't check a potential spot of my son? And I'm to the point now that I'm ready to crack. Like, I'm just like right here. Like, I've been sitting on it, pushing and pushing and pushing for a long time. Now that I have all the evidence, it's like nobody gives a shit.
That's the father of Canada's most famous missing child. And no, he's not the biological father of Lily or Jack Sullivan, but the cases are eerily similar. In fact, that's why I'm making this video. Let's watch a documentary about missing Nova Scotian 3-year-old Dylan Ayler and compare Dylan's parents to Lily and Jack's, because only Dylan's parents are acting the way that innocent parents typically do. I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation, so if that's your thing, hit subscribe. For exclusives and other cool perks, join the channel. Link in description. If you're unfamiliar with the disappearance of Dylan Ayler or just new to my series about his case, don't worry, because the documentary we're about to watch will bring you up to speed. So there's just one last thing I wanted to do before we grab our deception decks and start analyzing, and that's to show you a little bit more of the video I played in the intro, because it's the most recent one Dylan's dad uploaded to his channel. In other words, all that anguish and frustration you're hearing, he's been like that for 5 years. Dylan disappeared from his grandma's backyard in Truro, Nova Scotia in 2020.
So if you care about Dylan, find me a goddamn resource that will fucking just sit with me and talk and make me understand what I'm supposed to do. With two different things that I cannot tell publicly. But for the love of God, can someone just reach out to me? You know, I don't care who has my phone number at this point. No, that'd be stupid. Reach out to me on TikTok. You can message me on there and I'll give you my phone number. Like, I need to get this shit. This needs to be taken care of. It needs to be done. It needs to be done like fucking 2 years ago. And I shouldn't have to live with this. I shouldn't have to live with why nobody gives a shit about a 3-year-old child. So can someone please just reach out? Thank you. Honestly, you know, this isn't a game to me. This is like seriously affecting my mental health. I've even talked to my counselor about it 1,000 times. You know, I have all the evidence and proof. Like, you can take the liability and shove it up your ass because I don't care about it. I just want it searched. I want it searched so I can have a good night's sleep, if that makes sense. Like, it shouldn't be this way. Like, anyone in politics or someone with some pull, just, for Dylan, just give me a call. 506-380.
Yes, he did give out his entire phone number despite his better judgment, and if that's not a testament to how desperate he is, I don't know what is, especially when you understand that he's been the target of relentless, sadistic cyberbullying for years. We covered that in an earlier video in this series, and it's some of the sickest stuff I've ever heard of. I'll link that video on the end card if you want to see for yourself, but just be aware, it will make you truly appreciate the risk he's taking just for the off chance that someone out there watching this might help him. So that's what Dylan's dad is up to 5 years later. Now let's check in on Lily and Jack's parents just 5 weeks later. Well, the mom has been radio silent since the day after they disappeared, and the stepdad has apparently given up searching. That's no bueno. All right, with that context, let's watch.
The official search was canceled after 6 days. So frustrated and so desperate, Jason began conducting his own searches, sometimes 2 and 3 a week. He also scraped together enough money to hire a private investigator.
I can accept the drowning theory if everything else has been eliminated.
Dave Worrell is a former RCMP detective who spent 35 years investigating major crimes, including cold cases. For him, there are questions about Dorothy's recollections.
There were pieces in her story that I'd be a little concerned about, especially the timeline.
This is the last spot that Dorothy says she saw Dylan. Now, there are only 2 ways out of this backyard. He either would have bolted for Queen Street, this busy street here, or he made his way through this gap in the fence and headed for the water.
Just in case you're lost, Dorothy is Dylan's maternal grandmother. So his dad hired a private investigator to investigate his mother-in-law. And that might sound like a mean thing to do, but it's actually exactly how innocent parents act when their kid disappears without a trace. If there's no evidence that they were kidnapped, everyone becomes a suspect, especially the person who was the last person to see them alive, and their story doesn't sound quite right. And both of those things apply to Dorothy. And once again, this is a big contrast with the Lily and Jack Sullivan case, because in that case, the parents' story is that they were both drifting in and out of sleep when the kids, much like Dylan, either went out to the road or ran into the bush and got lost. But the difference is that Dylan's dad is accusing and investigating everyone because he doesn't know what happened. That's what happens when you don't know what happened. Whereas Lily and Jack's parents aren't accusing each other, nor are they accusing anyone else who lived on the property. In other words, they're acting like every other set of parents we've analyzed on the channel, who I believe are hoaxing and covering for each other. Like the parents of Madeleine McCann, who never accused each other, even though Jerry McCann wasn't around when Kate McCann supposedly discovered that Madeleine was missing. Or the parents of Sebastian Rogers, who never accused each other, even though Chris Proudfoot wasn't around when Katie Proudfoot supposedly discovered that Sebastian was missing. Same goes for Summer Wells. Dawn wasn't around when Candace supposedly discovered that Summer was missing. Same with John and Patsy Ramsey to a degree. Like the parents of Lily and Jack Sullivan, their story is that they were both asleep when JonBenét was kidnapped and murdered. So how could they possibly know for sure that the other one didn't do something while they were asleep, or someone else in the house, like JonBenét's brother Burke, didn't do something while they were sleeping? As I constantly say on the channel, this sort of conclusiveness is the telltale sign of a hoax. People knowing or being sure about something that they couldn't possibly know if their story were true.
The police theory is that Dylan was drawn to the water and was washed away by the strong current. But Worrell says police didn't seem to even entertain the possibility that the 3-year-old may have headed toward the street.
We did canvassing on Queen Street too, because that was my concern, and the police hadn't done anything on Queen Street.
Police didn't canvass on Queen Street?
I don't think anybody we talked to said they've never been approached.
There's only 2 ways that boy could have gone. You go back to Queen Street 6 months later and interview people along there, prime areas of where he would have been, potentially.
Yeah.
And the people tell you they've never been spoken to by police.
That's what they told us.
You must have been shocked.
Yeah, I mean, shocked or not surprised. I mean, that, you know, if you don't have a good team, and that's all they do.
That's sad to hear because that private investigator used to be a cop over in Canada. So the fact that he's not surprised that they didn't follow up on every possible lead to find Dylan doesn't bode well for Lily and Jack. Hopefully they've learned some things along the way. By the way, I've not watched this documentary yet. In each installment of this series, I'm watching it along with you so I can do a live reaction. Let me know if you want me to continue this series. Until next time, stay true.